Have you ever felt like no matter how hard you try, something keeps pulling you away from God? Maybe it's distractions or doubts or the feeling that you're not making enough progress in your faith. And if you feel that way, you're not imagining things. There's actually a reason for it. And the Bible tells us that the devil is prowling around looking for someone to devour. That's not just a dramatic metaphor, it's a real warning. There's a spiritual battle happening all around us, and whether we realize it or not, we're in the middle of it. And here's the thing. If we're not paying attention, if we're not alert and clear-minded, we're vulnerable. That's exactly what the enemy wants. But this verse isn't meant to just scare us, it's meant to wake us up. And so today we're going to break down this verse. What does it actually mean? And how does the enemy try to take us out? And most importantly, how do we stand firm and fight back? And I want to start this video off by looking at what this verse actually says. Be alert and of sober mind. Your enemy, the devil, prowls around like a roaring lion looking for someone to devour. 1 Peter 5:8. Now, to fully understand this verse, we need to look at where it sits in the bigger picture. 1 Peter was written by the Apostle Peter to Christians who were suffering, and not just like having a bad day. These believers were facing real persecution for their faith. They were being rejected by their communities. They were losing their jobs, even being imprisoned and killed simply for following Jesus. And in the middle of that suffering, Peter doesn't just tell them to stay strong. No, he warns them to be alert because there's an enemy that's working against them. And this warning comes near the end of his letter, right after he's given them instructions to the leaders of the church, where he tells them, be humble, trust God in the midst of your suffering, and stand firm in your faith. Almost as if to say, don't forget what you're up against. The devil is seeking someone to devour. And this wasn't just for church leaders. This message was for everyone. Peter wanted them to know that yes, life is hard. Yes, you're going to go through some suffering, but there's more going on here than what you can see. There's an enemy who wants to take you out, to take advantage of the struggle you're in. And that same warning applies to us today. Because let's be honest, life is still hard for us today. We might not be facing the same kind of persecution, the same kind of pressure, but we still deal with suffering, with doubt, with temptation. And if we're not paying attention, those struggles can pull us further away from God. And that's why Peter's words today still matter. He's telling us to stay awake, be clear-minded, don't let the enemy catch you off guard. And I think this is a message we desperately need today. So let's take a closer look at what 1 Peter 5:8 means. To help you better understand what this verse is saying for your life today, I've broken it down into a few different sections. And Peter starts off this verse by saying to be alert and of sober mind. 1 Peter 5:8 starts off with this reminder that we are in danger and therefore we need to be alert and sober-minded. And this isn't the first time that Peter's given this warning. He's warned his readers 3 times now. In other words, what he's trying to get across is we should pay attention to this warning. And to be sober-minded means to not be under any intoxicating influence. This means that we do not allow anything to influence us that could lead us away from God's truth. And if we are not sober, we cannot be alert. We cannot be on guard. And this is of utmost importance that Christians be vigilant and sober-minded, watching out for the dangers around us. And why should we do this? Well, next, Peter tells us, he says, your enemy, the devil, prowls around like a roaring lion looking for someone to devour. This is a vivid image that we are given. We need to stay alert because the devil is prowling around wanting to devour, meaning to swallow. In other words, the devil is seeking to do as much damage to one's faith as possible. And Peter has already made clear that our salvation is secure. The devil can't take that away from us. And since Satan can't attack our souls, he seeks to make us weak and limit our role in God's kingdom. In essence, he's trying to keep Christians on the sidelines and out of the game. And 1 Peter 5:8 is a warning to be sober and alert because the devil is seeking to make us ineffective followers of Jesus. And he will go to any length to accomplish this task. 1 Peter 5:8 warns us that the devil is prowling around like a lion seeking to destroy us. But what does that actually mean for us today? How can we actually be alert and sober-minded? And so I want to end by giving you two different ways you can apply this verse to your life. And the first way is by asking this question: who's influencing you? You see, we live in a world that's constantly bombarding us with information and messaging. And if we're not careful, we will be swayed by what the world says is best. And listen, the world, it doesn't have the best intentions for you. It wants to lead you to a place of destruction, not life. And followers of Jesus should ask themselves, who's influencing me? Are my beliefs and my convictions rooted in what God says is best, or are they rooted in what the world says is best? You see, when we identify where our beliefs come from, we can start practicing being sober-minded. The second thing that we can do to apply this verse is to remind ourselves of God's truth. 1 Peter 5:8 reminds us the importance of knowing God's words. The stakes are high, and therefore we should be alert. The way we stay alert and on guard is to root ourselves in God's word. And this isn't a one-time deal, but rather a daily practice. Christians ought to make it a habit to strengthen their faith by diving into and listening to God's truth. This is how we can withstand the attacks of a prowling lion. And if you're looking for some great resources to help you stand firm in that, I've put some links below to some blog posts I've written. And I also highly recommend Mark Moore's book, Core 52. These 15-minute daily lessons will help you root yourself in God's word and understand what he has for you. Thank you so much for watching this video. I hope that it encouraged you to stay rooted in God's word, to stay alert, because the enemy is seeking to destroy you. If it did, would you leave a comment down below letting me know what you are doing to stay rooted in God's word? And also, don't forget to subscribe to this channel so you can stay up to date on future content that's coming out. Thanks for watching. We'll see you next time.